Love being backstage with them. Can't tell you what happens backstage, or I would be out of a job. Always have fun. Take time to enjoy life. Keep that work life balance. That's important. That's going to come up tonight when we're talking. Everybody feeling good tonight? Yes, yes. I hope, I hope. Here comes Victor. Ah, I thought he was going to pop up on camera. Victor's been working on a dance routine. He's going to preview that for us tonight. He's been practicing on that. Yep, he's got it all set. He spent some time out with Beyonce. They've been working together. Uh, going to do a new halftime show next year at the Super Bowl. It's kind of under wraps, so don't let it spread outside the class. And so, good job, Victor. And so, it's always fun to have fun. Always keep that in mind. So, a few people have done the midterm. Whoop, whoop. And so, uh, give you a heads up on the midterm. Do not freak out. I sent an email out. Do not freak out over your grade when you do the midterm. It is going to possibly be from low to very low. Okay. The reason being is I go through and I check the auto grader because sometimes the auto grader is wrong. Okay. Because it doesn't always take into consideration our environment, meaning Florida, on some of the answers. So some of the answers are not tailored for this area, meaning answers that you might give for the way we dress, etc., for jobs that we do, things like that. The other thing is some people may get a ton of fill in the blanks as opposed to multiple choice. So if you get a bunch of those, your grade's really going to be low compared to somebody who gets a bunch of multiple choice because everybody doesn't get the same test, okay? Because it is random across all the subjects. All right. So I have to manually grade all those fill in the blank and short answer. So not only do you have work to do on the midterm, I have a lot of work to do on the midterm. So that is something that I get to do. So for every one of you that do the midterm, I get to do the midterm too. I get to manually read every question. And so it's a lot of fun because, like I said, not everybody gets the same question. So I have to read every single question. So you may score a 50 or a 40 on the midterm. Then when you see that I go back through, you might have a 90. All right. So hang in there. Don't panic. All right. Everybody good with that? You understand you will see that grade go up. All right. Okay. The other thing, almost everybody did the bonus question in week one. Woo. Okay. Whatever you score, that is 5 points on top of whatever you get. Now think about that. So that is half a grade. So kudos to you. This class, out of all the classes I've taught for the past 6 years doing this, you guys unanimously did that bonus question more than any other class. That was a smart thing to do. Most people in the past are like, I'm not going to mess with it. Not too smart. You guys thought ahead. 5 points doesn't sound a lot, but when you think of it as half a grade, it's a lot. So always think smart. Think smart. Plan ahead. Okay. So those are big important things. Now, this Sunday coming up is a very important date. Anybody that has late assignments from week one, they close on Sunday and no opportunity to get them again. Okay. Southern Tech has a very strict policy. Assignments cannot be open any later than 7 days past the original due date. That means week one assignments cannot go beyond week two. Week two assignments cannot go beyond week three. There is no at the last week, you can catch things up all the way through the course. Not going to happen. Okay. So if you're missing something from week one, you better get it done. Okay. Not a threat. It's the reality of the course. Okay. This prevents people from not doing anything and then coming back and trying to do it all in one day. Okay. You can't do your job that way. You can't do the class that way. All right. So we're good there. Most people are keeping up with the class, and you need to. Zeros are going to be coming because this is midterm week and campuses want to know where everybody's at. Grades are important. They reflect how you're doing in the course. They want to know. So I'm going to be dropping zeros in. So those are temporary till you complete things. You know the score on that. The discussion, if you've only got one post, you're going to see a 70 drop in. Okay, it's going to remain a 70 till you complete that second post. Then boom, you're going to go up to 100. Again, this is to show you where you stand currently. So please try to keep up with that. All right. Now, I've got my first uh, mock interview results back. So I'm going to be taking a look and see how that person did. So this is exciting times because you're going to start putting pieces together. Now, how many people enjoyed thinking about the question you hate the most during interviews? What y'all think about that? Huh? I asked you about the question you hate most during interviews. One of the most common was, tell me about yourself. How many people hate that question? Tell me about yourself. A lot of people hated that question. Okay. This is why we do the elevator pitch. Okay. That elevator pitch that you practice, that is the answer to that question. Rehearse that elevator pitch. Then when you're asked that question, boom, there it is. That is your answer. Okay. That is your answer right there. That's why we do that assignment. When you're asking people for advice, when you're looking to network with people, when you're in that interview and they ask you, tell me about yourself, that elevator pitch, that personal commercial, that is your answer. This is why we do this. Everybody got that? This is the time to think about that. Everybody understand that is your answer to that question. Wakey, wakey. Everybody understand that is the answer to tell me about yourself. You have that answer going in. You have rehearsed it. It is not a stress question to you. Boom, mic drop, you nailed it. Okay. If you don't rehearse it, you deserve the stress. You deserve to panic. You got it? You are in control. But if you don't do your rehearsing, you don't practice that, you see why you're not nailing that interview as good as you should. And the interviewer knows this. And the next person who comes in who has been practicing, you're handing them that job. You are. Don't say they didn't hire me because of this. They didn't hire me. You let that person be hired. Okay? You have to take ownership of that. Hello, Dominique. Um, so when you don't do your part, you're giving away the job that you want. So take ownership, take control, practice that elevator pitch. So when they do ask you that, okay? Now, how many people don't like the question, where do you want to be in 5 years? How many? Yeah. Where do you want to be? Okay, remember, and hold on one second. I got a bird that's talkative. Remember where we are doing career goals and we're setting that and we're like doing long-term goals. How many people remember this? We're setting goals in this class. How many people remember this assignment? That's where you want to be in 5 years. Okay. It doesn't always have to be exactly about the job, but in 5 years, you can say things like, I want to be excelling in my career and benefiting this corporation as we expand and grow together. You don't have to be specific. I want to be in this position. I want to grow in my career. I want to learn new skills. You are not signing a contract with the company you are interviewing with. I've also told employers that are interviewing me, I want to be in your position as you move up in the company. So I tell them, I want your job. Have you ever told somebody that in an interview? I want your job. Yeah. Tell them, I want your job and move you up. I am that ambitious. I see your job. I want that job. I want that money. I want those benefits. But I need you to move up. So I'm going to help push you up. I may also push you out. I don't care. You are not my friend. You're not my wife or whatever. All I know is you need to move out of my way. Everybody got that? Be ambitious. Business, these people are not your friends. Business is business. You are your business. You promote you. People either help you or move out of your way. It sounds kind of cutthroat, right? People agree it sounds kind of cutthroat. It doesn't mean you have to be mean to people or anything else, but you do have to realize that either other people will move up or you move up. So you do have to kind of look out for opportunities. Don't step on people and push them down. Don't do that. Don't cut throats, but look for opportunities to move yourself up. And sometimes that's helping those above you or beside you. And they in turn will do the same. Okay. So these are some of the questions. Now, what about greatest weakness? How many people didn't like greatest weakness? List your weakness or your faults or your things like that. Okay. Yeah, it sounds kind of like a trick question. Tell me what you do bad. Doesn't have to be. My greatest weakness is I dedicate too much to the company, sometimes at my expense. There you go. Look at that. It's a weakness, but it benefits the company. Your greatest weakness does not always have to be a bad thing to them. Sometimes I'm too dedicated. So think about weaknesses as a plus. A weakness does not always have to be a bad thing. So this is how we turn the tables. We think ahead. And this is why we practice interviews. We try to think of the questions they're going to throw at us and turn them around. And people who do not practice, they go in and they get hit by them. They don't know what to respond. They go, well, uh, the person on the other side of the desk, they're not impressed. The person who comes in ready to go knows what to do. They're the one that's going to catch the eye. And this is how we can prepare ourselves. All right, everybody got these things, these hints, these pointers. Everybody, these are the things that will set you above. Because remember, this is almost like a game. Anybody watch the show Squid Game? Anybody see that show? Very popular. A bunch of people go in, only one comes out, kind of like Thunderdome. You want to be the one that comes out of, and that's because of strategies that you learn to navigate in these interviews. All right. Now, if you notice behind me, I've got a stage because when you're in an interview, it's like being on a stage. Everything is focused on you. It's similar to a performance. Everything is focused on you. They're watching, they're listening, they're seeing everything going on. You've got it. You're polished. You've practiced. Your performance is flawless. You are the star, and we're going to learn more about it. Okay? So, we're going to do some screen sharing here, and here we go. So, let's pull this up here. We are in week 2. We are zooming along. Everybody's getting their mock interviews scheduled. I am so happy about that. I had some people in the past who would not do this, and it is an incredible benefit. You notice I got my dates corrected. I did my part there. So there are the dates. You guys are getting it scheduled. I'm not worried about that. The other thing is, I want to tell you, you guys are, when I say guys, I mean everybody, you all, I shouldn't be specific that way, on turning in your resume, brilliant, doing that incredible. But this one here, your dream job research, getting the results back. The ones who have turned them in, I am blown away with the information you're getting back. Somebody found out some incredible information about unions and being a part of a big family in their career field. Brilliant work. Other people have found out how to understand that you're going to be super busy at times, slow at times, and how to have patience and things like that. The information you are finding about the real day to day, we can't teach you this in class, in the shop, in the labs. You have to hear it from the people who are in the day to day. This is why we do this. This is also networking. It's teaching you how to network, how to talk to people in your field. These are skills you need because I always tell people if you're not networking, you're not working. You network with people in your field every day at work. It's a skill you will need to move in your career, to stay in your career. All right. So take that job and find out what you can in it. Pick these people's brains. All right. So now tomorrow, Miss Carla is going to be here. She's going to talk. I connected with her. See, I have to network with everybody as well. I connected with her. She's going to talk. We're going to go over a bit about the midterm exam here right now. The reason being, I want some of you to have the opportunity to work ahead. So when you go into the midterm, it tells you what chapters 1, 2, 3, 7, and 10. Also, things that we cover in these live lectures. So if you haven't been paying attention, some things are not in the book, but they've come from what I've said. So paying attention is important. And you'll click take the quiz. Notice this quiz or this midterm is 20% of your overall grade. Take it serious. You'll take the quiz. You can work together. It's an open book, but remember, not everybody's going to get the same questions in the same order. You'll see some of these are multiple choice. Some of them are short answer where you'll type your answer. Some of them you have more room to type, etc., etc. Some of them you have to put them in order and you'll say, which one these are, etc. You only have one opportunity to take the midterm. You cannot come in here, take a look at the questions, get out, and come back. It wouldn't do you any good anyway, every time the questions are different. Okay, so there is no time limit on this, but do not go in here and expect to stop and come back. Make sure you have plenty of time to do this. Okay, so that's the midterm itself. Now, on the main screen here, if you go to the help button, there is a midterm study guide. Click on PDF and it will open and you can read. There's chapter 1, there is chapter 2. Every chapter that's covered in the midterm, there is information on it. You can click download and download the information to your device. You can print it out however you want. I strongly recommend it because this information will be directly on the midterm. Okay, so it is there. But again, there is additional information that comes from the lectures and those videos, of course. If you ever need to retrieve them, you come here where it says live class and recordings, click there, go to where it says past recordings. There's all the ones from week 1. There's Monday and Tuesday of this week, and you click on them and they take you to a YouTube video. So you can watch that on any device. All right. So let's finish off where we or go continue from where we finished off yesterday. And here we go. Part 2, the sequel. But I guarantee you the sequel is good. Let me get my pencil going. And draw my smiley face. And here we go. So in-person preparation, always arrive at least 15 minutes before the appointment time. Okay, very important. You don't want to be late. Okay, so this is something that's important. Make sure that you are there before time. Make sure you check traffic, weather, other things that might delay construction, things like that, and know where you're going. So some of these places have big buildings. Know which building you're going into, what floor, etc. Okay, and if possible, visit it. Go there beforehand, kind of like a drive-by. Okay, now make sure you understand what you're supposed to do there. Okay, know where you're supposed to park. Do you need a visitor pass? Sometimes you have to go there, especially in places where like the technicians need to go, etc. You're going to need a visitor pass to get into that area. Make sure you know what type of identification you're going to need, driver's license, etc., to prove who you are. And make sure you know who you are going to see and their phone number. Okay, that way, in case something goes wrong, you know how to get a hold of them. Now, there's advantages to virtual interviews, although I had the weirdest one. I had to call a number, recording, read the question, I had to respond, and then hit a number on the phone to go to the next question. It was so virtual, there wasn't even a person. After 20 minutes of answering to phone questions, I decided this was not the company for me. Okay. I ended it and that was it. Always remember you have the right to end any interview. So you can end it. All right. But the advantage of a virtual interview is you don't have to go to their location, but there could be technical difficulties. Okay. Do you know how to use Zoom? You know how to use Teams. Do you know how to use other types? okay? Because there are other types. But how do you use them? Make sure that you know how to do them. Or is it going to be phone? Is it going to be FaceTime? And so it doesn't matter which way you're going to use it. Make sure that you have everything you need, your profiles, any blogs, portfolios, websites. Make sure everything is current. Okay. That just has to be. So make sure you have everything you need current and in sync with each other so that you're not worried about if something is not current on one thing, but it is current on the other. Okay. And all this needs to be done before the interview, and it should be done before you are applying. Now, a telephone interviewer, uh, obviously, they're going to tell you to call them or they'll call you at a specified time. Okay. If you're doing one of these, be by the phone at least 5 minutes early. That way, you're not going to miss it. People's phones or their times are off a little one way or the other. Okay. Now, this is going to sound strange, but make sure you sit up. Okay. Here's the other thing, make sure you are smiling while you're talking. Why? It makes a difference how you sound. If you're not smiling when you're talking on the phone, you sound different. You don't sound enthusiastic. You will come across as mumbling. Case in point, if I stop smiling when I'm presenting this, I come across as not enthusiastic about the class. But when I smile, it automatically forces me to talk differently and present the class more enthusiastic. Same with your phone calls. And you treat it as though you're face to face. Make sure your materials are ready and have a pen and paper so you can take notes. Make sure the area you're in is silent. This shows respect. Okay. Now, if you have to do Zoom or Teams or Skype, make sure you have the software. Okay. Make sure you have a webcam, a microphone, internet. That is your responsibility if you're going to do one of these interviews. If not, let the person know you don't have these things. It's okay. They will find another way, but you need to communicate. One of the biggest problems is we're afraid to talk to people and let them know we cannot do something. And then we just let it go and we lose out on job opportunities. Okay. And if you have to do these things, test it. Make sure it all works. Okay. Test. That's another thing people don't want to do. And then when it doesn't work at the right time, again, you miss out. Okay. Now, believe it or not, there's three types of questions: general, behavioral, and stress. Breaks them down. The general questions, they're just gathering facts about you. And here's the ones that you don't like. Tell me about yourself. Okay, that comes from your elevator. Right there, boom, tell me about yourself. What jobs have you held? That's easy. Comes right from your resume. What interested you most about this position? Okay, this one here, do not say money. No money. Okay. Same thing for why do you want to work for this company? Think about anything about the money. What is your major strength? How do you answer this? You need to sit down, list your strengths and your weaknesses. Wait a minute. Didn't we just talk about what is your greatest weakness? You need to know what these are. Everybody has them. If you don't think you have a weakness, there's your weakness, your ego. Okay? Everybody has a weakness. Does everybody know what their weakness is? Yes. Everybody know what their weakness is? Okay. It's okay to know this, and you should know it. If not, ask your family, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife. They'll tell you what your weaknesses are. You may not want to hear it, but they will tell you. They may tell you quite a few of them. Okay. You need to know what your strengths are and your weaknesses are. This is how we improve ourselves. And are you comfortable using the technology? Okay, technology can mean the tools that you use, lab equipment, uh, circuitry testing, anything like this that you need, welding equipment, TIG welders, MIG welders, etc., to do the job. It's simple. They're not trying to trick you. They just want to know. Okay. Don't walk into any interviews with chips on your shoulder because they're asking questions. They need to make sure you can do what you say you can do. If you go in with attitude, you got a problem. Okay. Attitude and knowing your stuff are two different things. Be confident and know your stuff, and you won't have attitude and ego. Those are opposites. Attitude and ego are things that you do to protect yourself when you don't truly know your stuff. Okay. Now, I don't want to see people's heads spinning and going all Miami and me and things like that going, oh, no, you didn't. You didn't say that about me. Listen, know your stuff and you don't need ego or attitude. Okay. That's honest. Behavioral questions, they're going to ask about your experiences and decisions. Like, describe a time when you missed the opportunity to provide your best service. I can name one. Worked in a vet office. I was helping a particular customer. They needed prescription food for their pet. While I was waiting on them, another client came in with their pet. I should have told the one I was with, excuse me for a moment, turned to the other one and said, I'll be right with you. Instead, I stayed working with the first client. So I didn't give that other client any attention. That was not giving them the best service. It only would have taken a second. That I know was an experience that I missed out on. Okay. Describe a situation where you needed to be creative in order to help a customer. Case in point, we had a bird that had to have surgery. You can't put a collar on a bird. In this case, it was an eagle. Okay. Eagles will rip through those collars. Lo and behold, we widened the hole on a compact disc. We used a compact disc as a collar on the eagle. Eagle was not able to chew through the compact disc because of the way it fit. Boom. There you go. We used Whitney Houston's greatest hits to solve the problem. Yeah. How about that? So think about questions like these. And this is why we prepare. If you walk into these things blind, you're going to be sitting there going, um, um, and that's going to cause stress, which leads us to stress questions. How many people have been stressed out by questions in the interview? Anybody? Yeah. Interviews can be stressful. So we're going to do things. So, hypothetical questions. They do these to see how you're going to react under pressure. So they want to give you situations to see how you might react to it. Now, hypothetical questions are different than blue sky questions. Hypothetical questions are related to your job. Okay. Blue sky means they're way out there. That means they're not related to your job duties. Okay. So they're going to ask you questions that are out there, not related. That's what blue sky means. Out in the clear blue sky. Okay. So that's what those mean. That is different than hypothetical. Hypothetical means imagine a situation on your job. How would you react? That's the difference. So don't answer immediately. Okay? Do not answer immediately. I want you to think first. Okay? Think, then answer. Okay? This is the number one problem. People start to answer, then they start to think. Think, then answer. Because if you answer, then think, you're going to have to start moving that answer around to fit the logic. Think first, and your answer will follow. Okay? And that's how you get through those questions. Now, I know somebody got a question that was illegal. Okay? Because they mentioned it. They cannot ask you about your age. Okay? There is an exception I do want to talk about, and that is you may have to meet a minimum age for things like serving alcohol, etc. That could be an age requirement, but they cannot ask you typically about your age. That's illegal. They cannot ask you about a disability, an ethnicity or national origin, a gender, a marital or family status, or a religion. It's illegal. They cannot ask you these things. Okay. Sexual orientation is not on here because it is not a protected class right now. Okay. You hear a lot of talk about it, but it's not illegal about that right now. You can decline. Whoops. Boy, I just can't write tonight. You can decline to answer. Now, in Florida, it's a right to work state. They don't have to give you a reason to fire you. They can just let you go. Your job may have other restrictions. They may have to give you write-ups, etc. That is job specific, but state of Florida doesn't require it. They can just let you go. No reason. They do not have to provide a reason. Okay. But an interviewer cannot ask these things, but they can get around it by asking, what year did you graduate from high school? Things like that. So they can get around these things. You know, are you able to lift this? Can you perform the duties of this job? Things like this. Now, on applications, they can ask, do you identify as this or this for ethnicity, or you can leave that off. It doesn't have to be answered. Okay. Marital family status, they can't answer. But let me give you a hint. How many people have been told, let me walk you out to your car after an interview? Anybody been asked this or told this? Let me walk you out to your car. Okay. They're not just being polite necessarily. They're looking in your car to see if you have a car seat. Did you know this? Because if you have a car seat, you have children. Children tend to make you miss work. Did you know this? How many of this is new? Yeah, they're checking to see if you have children because they can't ask you. And that's sometimes a reason to not hire people. And it's illegal and it's wrong. The other thing is sometimes they have fake pictures of children on their desk. And you go, oh, I have a daughter too, or I have a son as well. You've just provided information you shouldn't have. That can also lead you to not be hired, and it's illegal and it's wrong. The other thing is they may ask you, do you have transportation? And you do, and you might, but they might be judging your vehicle, and they shouldn't. So sometimes interviewers are not upfront and honest. So be aware of these things, okay? Sometimes I don't bring a car or I park a car elsewhere and say, I parked elsewhere or I rode with a friend because we're going somewhere after the interview. I have transportation, but, and I've done this, or I've removed car seats, and I never make mention to anything on the interviewer's desk. And the reason why I found this information out is, has anybody heard of a company called ADP? You may have seen them on your paychecks. Anybody heard of them? Also known as the payroll people. They do payroll for tons of people. So I used to work for them at one point. We did tons of interviews. And sometimes we would talk about how people do interviews. And that's how I found these things out. So when you're interviewing with people, do not provide more information than you need to. Okay? Provide information to the questions asked and don't let our mouths wander. Keep them to the subject at hand. Sometimes we give too much information. Okay. How many people ask questions during an interview? Anybody ask questions? No? Oh, one person, two people. Okay, so a couple of people ask. Take time and ask a question. Okay. Some of them you can ask, who will I report to? Notice I didn't say, if I get this job. Never say that. Say, who will I report to? What will be my working hours? Why do I phrase it that way? Because that is putting in their head, you will hire me. What will be the company culture when I'm working here? Okay. What team will I be on? Are things that you can say. Okay. How will my professional development and career growth be? See how I'm phrasing this. Everybody see that? You see the difference in how I'm phrasing this? You're phrasing it in a way you're telling the person subliminally, you're going to hire me. When you're asking these this way, you're telling the person, you're going to hire me. Who will I be reporting to? What are my working hours? Mine, mine. This position is mine. So you're phrasing that because you're mine. Okay. And it's best if you phrase it as, you mentioned that my working hours will be. You referred that I would be able to develop by doing this. Now you're pulling the person in even further. They have to have you. This is how you grow. Never, never, never. What is the salary? Never, never, never. Okay. Do not ask how many other candidates. Not your business. You don't care. You're the only candidate. Okay. Don't ask. Okay. May I come back? Don't ask what you think about me. Okay. And don't say, are you going to hire me? Okay. You should have an idea about the position because you did research. You should know what they should be offering you. And when they hire you, they will offer a salary and you can reject it or ask for more. Okay. So you don't ask them what the salary is because you should know what it is because you did research of the company and you checked Glassdoor. It should be a D. You checked Glassdoor. You checked the government pages to see what the salary should be. You've checked the ads. You've done your research. Okay. Now you can ask what is next. When you are here, ask them, what is next? That is a great question to ask. What is next? That way they know that you're ready. What is next? Or you can say, when will I hear from you? So now you're putting the ball in their court. When will I hear from you? What is next? Now you're telling them, I need to know something from you. Okay. So we need to prepare, practice questions using a phone. That's the nice thing. We got phones we can record. We can see exactly. Look, mock interviews. They're going to tell you how you're doing. Okay. So when you're doing an interview, feet flat on the floor, arms at your side or on the armrest. Any papers you have sitting in your lap. Once you are seated and the person sits down, extend out your resume to them. This is when you hand your resume to them. Look directly at them when speaking with them. Make sure you're smiling. Speak clearly. Answer directly. And try to do more than just yes, no. Answer in full sentences. Okay? These are very important things to do. And you will be checked on these. These are the things that people will look for. And try to relate them to real life, things that you've done. It doesn't always have to be with this career or this job, but relate them to things that you've done in past positions. Okay. Now, night before the night before the interview, it's kind of the same thing. Make sure you have your outfit and your clothes, everything ready to go. Okay. People in the medical fields, make sure you have scrubs to go or you're going to wear them in case it turns into a working interview. Now, working interviews are pretty much standard for the animal care field. They are going to want you to work at least part of a shift without pay to see how you fit in with the team. They need to see your skills in action. This is common, so let them know if you go in regular clothes, you have scrubs available to conduct a working interview if needed. Okay. Anybody who is in a tech type field, such as HVAC, welding, etc., make sure you have tools available to go with you and proper attire if you should need to change in case they want to do a weld test, etc. So make sure you have this available with you. Make sure you have your resume ready, references ready, and multiple copies in case it's a panel interview. Okay. Know how you're going to go and make sure you're going to arrive early. Make sure you get plenty of sleep. Don't go to that late night rave that you've been wanting to go the night before. You want to be ready. All right. Now, everybody understand what to do for an interview. Yes, yes. The preparation I know sounds ridiculous. Anybody think it sounds a little bit ridiculous? You might, but do you want the positions? Do you want that career? Because if you do, these are why people are getting $5 to $7 more an hour doing the same position, possibly in the same building, doing the same work as you. And if they're getting paid more, there's nothing you can do about it because that's the contract they signed. That's what a career is. A career is negotiating your contract. Just because you're in the same position does not mean you're going to get the same money because it's going to be based on your skills, your ability to negotiate, your soft skills, everything. Everybody is different. So just because you're doing the same job, don't expect that you will get the same pay. It is not cookie cutter. So you can ignore all this, or you can get the career that you deserve. There's a reason why we do this. There's a reason why people pay thousands of dollars to get these skills. So it may sound like a lot, but when you narrow it down and you're actually doing the steps, these go quick. All right. The people that typically do this and follow these steps, their percentage of landing the jobs and the careers that they want is astronomically higher than those that don't. Stand out, go through the motions, learn the skills, get the positions. All right. So tonight, I want you to name 3 things you're looking for in a company slash job, not including the money. So I want you to think of 3 things you are looking for in that position besides money. All right. Everybody got that? Yes, yes. So I want you to think of 3 things that you're looking for when you're going out there for that position, but not money. Very important. There's a lot of things, a lot of benefits in different positions besides money. Okay? So I want y'all to think about that. I lost my cursor here. There we go. And that's it for tonight. Tomorrow we are going to have Miss Carla here to help us, and then after that we'll briefly go over the midterm again, and then we will be done for week 2. That means we are halfway through the course. So anything that you need to catch up on, this is the week to do it because Monday we'll be posting midterm grades, and campuses will be very interested in making sure that everybody is above that 65% mark. Okay, so if you're behind on things, now is the time to do it. All right. All right. So I will see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. with our special guest. Y'all have a great evening.